2016. And before that, she was the director of special events for St. Joseph's Healthcare Foundation. And she is here to tell us all about the history of the race starting back in, I think it was 1894. So we're very excited. So welcome. And I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. Yes, it's been such a great journey as a race director. So I'm so honored to be the race director and to share some of what I know. And it's still just scratching the surface because, of course, 1894 till now, there's so much history. We're going to celebrate our 128th anniversary this March. It's really exciting to talk about it. And if I can share my screen, I can present with some slides. Okay, can you all see that? And can you all hear me? If thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I've been the race director, as Carrie has said, for the last 6 years. So not a historical expert, but in preparing for this presentation, it gave me the chance to learn more and more about its origin and past. And so I'm thankful to you for inviting me here today, because this has been really fun. It's a different type of project for me. So thank you for allowing me to delve deeper into the Bay Race. The Around the Bay Road Race is the oldest road race in North America. It was first run on Christmas Day in 1894. For the last couple of decades, the race is held on the last Sunday in March. And that's because of the shipping lines and the shipping schedule. So we wanted to have our race so that the lift bridge wouldn't go up during our race. So we kind of pushed it as late as we can before the spring season starts. It was started in Hamilton by cigar store owner Billy Carroll. He was the Hamilton Herald newspaper owner and cigar store owner. And it's now commonly, it was called the Herald Road Race back then, but it is now commonly referred to as the Around the Bay or just the Bay Race for short. And the race started as a sporting event for placing wagers, and but now has become a staple in the running calendar, and one of the first ones that people will run and train over the winter, and then they start their running calendar with this one. Although the oldest, it was not continually run since 1894. There were no races in 1917 to 1919 due to World War I, and it was canceled in 1962 due to construction. The race course, the route has also been changed over the years to accommodate construction projects and, of course, train routes. Many years ago, the train was passing and lots of people had to stop. And so, as you know, runners are very competitive, and so they didn't want to ruin their time or have a delay in their time. So we had to look at different routes and see where we can minimize that interruption. And of course, you might have heard of COVID-19. We had to cancel the race in 2020, just 2 weeks before it was scheduled. So it was heartbreaking because we, planned the whole year for this race, and just 2 weeks before we had to cancel it. In 2021, it was the first ever virtual Around the Bay road race. And where participants would run on their own route and then submit their race time to earn their medal and shirt. And so I think now we've all kind of adapted to a virtual world. We're having this meeting online, whereas normally we would be in person, and I can present to you in person. So I think we've all had to make that adjustment. And so we did in 2021. The first race in 1894 had 13 participants. This is a picture of the 1905 start line. It grew a little bit, but I only count 18 participants in that front row, so it only grew by about 5. The original race course measured 19 miles and 168 yards. We found this course map from the 1901 official souvenir program. And so the start line was at the Herald office, and it went up James and Barton, all around the bay, Valley Inn Road, High Level Bridge, and then back to the Herald office as its finish. This picture is of the 2014 start line of the 30K race with approximately 7,000 participants. I use this picture rather than a 2019 picture, for instance, which is my background, because it was taken on the rooftop of First Ontario Centre, formerly Copps Coliseum, to show how far back the start line went. We no longer have access to the roof, so we don't have these great aerial photos anymore. So I really wanted to show you how far back it went. Participation levels for all race categories. So this is just the 30K start, but we also have a 5K and relays. The relays, the first leg is in here. But the participation for all the race categories in recent years have been upwards of 10,000 people. But for 2022, we have set some more modest participation limits and are capping it at around 6,500 for all our participants in all our race categories, because we really want to ensure that we provide a safe and enjoyable race experience. So we want to make sure that we can implement enough protocols and safety measures to host a race. So we've kind of limited the numbers this year. And this is a course map of the 2019 race, which is 30 kilometers or 18.6 miles. And this is the course map from our 125th anniversary. It has a similar route to the one you saw earlier, but it starts and finishes now at Copps Coliseum rather than the Herald office. So it still goes around the bay. We put it in color, so but it's very similar. Here are some pics of key sections of the race. This is Beach Boulevard and is in the midsection of the route, and it's the windiest. If anyone has been out there, just even as a spectator, participant, or just strolling down there, you'll know it's quite windy. But during the race, many residents along this stretch come out to support our runners by banging on their pots and pans, and so participants have coined it Tin Pan Alley. There are still some great pieces from the early days of the race. This is the original 5-mile marker that was first along Woodward Avenue, but now resides on Beach Boulevard. And there's a real fun story about this mile marker. It was in front of Dine's Tavern for a while, and rumor had it that the owner was going to take it away and bring it to his cottage. And so on the evening of July 18, 2007, a band of Heritage freedom fighters showed up at the Dine's Tavern late at night with a bobcat, and they took it and they hid it. They took the marker, and it sat in more than one backyard on the beach strip under tarps, hidden for several years. And then in the spring of 2011, the stone appeared at the edge of Beach Boulevard. So now participants can pass by it as they run the Bay Race. So we're really lucky to have this. Valley Inn Road is a signature element of the race. It's a love-hate relationship, I think, with participants. But this is a picture from the 1800s, and the caption reads, "Scene of the familiar Valley Inn Hotel on the old road to Toronto, showing the Snake Road and Toll House, the fishing bridge, and the hill, which killed many around the bay runners, nearing the finish at Herald's office." And this is a present day picture of Valley Inn Road. In 2016 and 17, we weren't able to access Valley Inn Road due to CN Rail construction. As a way of giving back, CN has actually sponsored the race since then, and they contributed to the paving and the landscaping of this stretch of the area. Participants start to get excited when they near the high level bridge, knowing they are past the toughest part of the course and on the home stretch. So here's a nice picture of the high level bridge back in the day. We also have the original 15-mile marker, and this is on Plains Road West, thanks to the Burlington Runners Club, who raised funds to move the mile marker closer to the road and to be more visible. And we also have the 17-mile marker that stands just south of the high level bridge. And these are great treasures to have along the route that help us remember the early beginnings of this historic race. Now we're going to look back at some of the participant highlights. Going back to the first race in 1894, William Marshall was the first winner of the Herald Road Race. Frank Wood came in second that year, but went on to win the following year in 1895. In the early 1900s, Hamilton was becoming a mecca for long distance runners. Jack Caffery not only won the Bay Race in 1898 and 1900, he went on to win the Boston Marathon in 1900 and 1901. William Shearing won the Bay Race in 1899 and 1903 and won the gold medal in the 1906 Olympics in Athens, Greece. So I feel like the Bay Race is like a stepping stone or a sounding board or a launching pad, for long distance runners and elite athletes. So Tom Longboat was born on the Six Nations Reserve and trained at the YMCA in Toronto, where members of the Longboat running crew still train today. In 1906, Tom Longboat won the Around the Bay and then went on to beat 126 other runners in the 11th Boston Marathon. So I don't have a documented source for this story that I'm going to tell, but you can decide about its plausibility. In one of the Bay's early years, a young man named Tom Longboat entered the race. He had a coach who appreciated Tom's raw talent, but was wary about his racing smarts. The coach hit upon an ingenious strategy. He pointed out the favorite on the day, an Englishman, and told Tom to simply stay with him until the finish, whereupon he should pass him and win the race. The race went off and Tom stayed on the favorite's shoulder. Tom had a somewhat splayed duck-like stride, which did not impress the leader. The Englishman employed a strategy where he put a series of surges to suit his convenience, leaving Tom to scramble to keep up. As the story goes, the leader ended up doing himself the greater disservice. By the time they neared the top of Valley Inn Road, the Englishman pulled over to the side and had to sit down to catch his breath. With his head between his legs, he glanced to his side and saw Tom smiling and sitting beside him, doing just as his coach instructed, never leaving the favorite's side. Of course, Tom went on to win the Bay Race that year and Boston, but again, I cannot quote a written source. This is simply a verbal record passed down over the years. It could be true, or it could be a fun story that I tell at historical society meetings. Robert Rankin, also known as Scotty Rankin because of his Scottish background, still holds the record for most Bay Race wins with 7. Rankin won in 1936, 38, 39, 40, 42, 44, and 48. Look at those power legs. This is his 1944 winner's trophy that his grandson brought into the office one day. We couldn't keep it though. He wanted it back. Jerome Drayton won the Bay Race in 1973 and 1974 and won the Boston Marathon in 1977. Drayton also held the Canadian men's marathon record for 43 years, dating back from 1975, and it was only recently broken in 2018. The race remained closed to women for 85 years until Tercilla Comac came along. Born in Castelfranco Veneto, north of Venice, Tercilla Beraldo had no time for running in Italy. She was too busy working on the farm. Coming to Canada in 1954 at 22, she married Emile Comac and set about raising 3 children in Burlington. In the early 1970s, Tercilla was suffering the painful but temporary effects of Bell's palsy, a condition affecting the facial nerve. Sleeping was very difficult, so she took to walking to exhaust herself. Seeing runners going past, she thought, I'm going to start running too. Maybe it will make me even more tired. At first, Tercilla ran alone, increasing her distance until she was running 15 miles each day, except Sunday. She joined a group of men running out of the Burlington YMCA called the Magnificent Seven and began to run races with them. After an early race in Burlington, organizers apologized for having no trophy for her, explaining that no woman had ever entered before. The Magnificent Seven ran around the Bay annually, so in 1975, Tercilla decided to run it too. Women were not allowed to register in the race, but she just showed up at the start and ran along with all the men anyway, later saying, Once it started, they couldn't stop me. She would use the same strategy when she ran the Boston Marathon. Hamilton police would not halt traffic for her as they did for male runners, suggesting she had no place among them. Race officials were angry to see her finish. In 1976, running mate Gord McCone successfully registered Tarsila as simply T. Comac, procuring an official number tied to her name. Despite being the inaugural woman to run the Bay, she again crossed the finish line to no fanfare. This bib shown on the screen was made many years later to give to Tarsila as a keepsake. In 1979, the race officially opened to women. In March 2019, 52% of participants were women. So we've made a long way, but still ways to go. Krista Duchesne from Brantford, Ontario has placed in the female top 10 8 times and won in 2012 and 2014. Krista placed second in the Bay Race and third in the Boston Marathon that year. Lanny Marchand the Bay Race continues to attract top athletes around the world and also elite athletes training for Boston and other major races. For someone preparing for the Boston Marathon, this is a perfect training race at 30 kilometers. The Boston Marathon, or any marathon, is 26.2 miles or 42.2 kilometers and is usually held on Patriots Day in the US, the third Monday of April. Lanny Marchand holds the female Bay Race course record with a time of 1 hour, 44 minutes and 40 seconds set in 2013. Aline Rita has the male course record set in 2010, but it's a bit controversial. The Bay Race does not conduct drug testing because we don't have a formal elite program and we don't have the resources, but some of the other major races do. And in 2010, Aline Rita tested positive for banned substances in international racing. So many believe he also used those banned substances for the Bay Race, but we cannot confirm it. In 2019, Daniel Kamoy came close with a time of 1 hour and 32 minutes and 57 seconds, so was just shy of breaking the course record. This is the Boston Marathon Trophy won on April 20th, 1914 by James Duffy of Hamilton, Ontario. Since that time, it has been used as the official trophy for the winners of the Round the Bay Road Race. Duffy won the Bay Race in 1912 and 1913, and likely would have achieved further accolade if his life was not cut short during active service in World War I. Bay Race winners are listed on the trophy each year dating back from 1894 for men and from 1975 for women. In 1993, the Bay Race introduced the 5K race category, providing a more inclusive distance. And in 2004, the 2x15K and the 3x10K relays were introduced as race categories to complement its signature 30K distance. Over race weekend, we have the assistance of over 500 volunteers. We enlist cadet groups, school groups, and community groups to help us manage 8 water stations, race packet pickup, food lines, course marshaling, and much more. We certainly could not host this historic event without their help. And as you can see how small the water stations used to be in 1974, a little table, and to what they are now. Over the years, community support has grown and traditions have started. Every year, Stan plays Queen's We Will Rock You just before runners start their journey toward Valley Inn Road. Stan helped me out with some social media posts last year, and I was able to record this clip. Hold on.
My name is Stan Wakeman.
And how long have you been doing the Bay Race?
Over 30 years.
You're amazing. Thanks, Stan, for coming out every year.
Thank you. I get so much energy from the runners.
Participants truly feel inspired by Stan, and they love seeing him every year. Captain Obvious, I don't know if you've seen some hotel commercials that use Captain Obvious, but he hangs around the base of Valley Inn Road and holds up really funny signs to help keep things light. He might have a sign that reads, "You are faster than the runner behind you," or "Whoa, now that's a big hill." And of course, he's standing at the bottom of that hill. Here's a video clip that he helped me out with to promote Global Running Day. But this is something he would say or have a sign something like this when cheering on bay racers.
Studies have proven that running is a lot faster than walking.
So that's Captain Obvious. A relatively new tradition is the West Plains Choir coming out to sing after after Sunday service. This tradition started 10 years ago when Jennifer, one of their choir members, was running in the 30K. So the rest of the choir wanted to support her and came out to cheer her on and all the other runners. And they've been doing that ever since and now has become a bay race tradition. The Grim Reaper hangs out near the cemetery on the home stretch to the finish, and participants will stop to take selfies with him. He's like a bay race celebrity. They love him. Often we have companies who want to partner with us because their product or message aligns with our participant demographic. In 2017, Stone Mill Bakehouse makes slow crafted baked goods, and they wanted to celebrate slow, and they produced this great video, and I wanted to show it to you today because it's a great overview of our race but has a really nice message to go along with it. So I'm just going to play this for you.
Almost anywhere in the world, you've probably heard about and maybe even participated in one of the most infamous road races of the running season, the Around the Bay 30K road race, held in Hamilton, Ontario. First run in 1894, 3 full years before the Boston Marathon. The Run Around the Bay is also, unofficially, the first road race of the year for many runners across North America.
So you gonna finish today?
I am.
How are you? You been training? No.
We've done it for, 6 times.
Held at the end of March, this almost always cold and usually very wet late winter race is a grueling 30-kilometer sprint around Hamilton Harbor.
Never have a DNF.
No DNF. I have a DNF, but no DNF.
Yeah.
DNF did not finish.
3K is the first like a relay.
You're gonna come in last?
Okay.
Not last.
Not last.
You're the middle.
Don't forget to cheer for. Absolutely.
Runners from around the globe came out on a recent Sunday morning and ran the 123rd edition of this now iconic road race. This year's race attracted some of the most interesting characters and talented runners in the world, including elite long-distance runners like Panuel Mukungo, Evans Mako, and Daniel Kipko, as well as the other 11,000 participants who ran that day for the sheer passion and fun of running. This year's large group of official runners was no exception. And the winner, Panuel Mukungo, while not breaking any world records, finished the day in an impressive world-class time. Many more crossed the line that day with a look of determination and excitement, while others finished with a look of struggle written on their faces, with the aches and pains that come with running a 30-kilometer race. Thousands of stories and personal bests crossed the finish line that day, and as in any race, the winners, the fastest, the best runners there were celebrated. But this is not a story about them. This is a story about one brave, determined competitor who ran knowing everyone was in front of her and nobody was behind her. Yet, to the very end, she didn't give up.
And ladies and gentlemen, finally, our last runner and the Stone Mill Slow Crafted winner, Sandra Holder, number 3806. Well done, Sandra Holder.
Here's to Sandra Holder. At 65 years young, she's an inspiration to everyone. And in a world obsessed with fast, we believe it's important to celebrate slow.
So Sandra, you are our slow crafted winner. Congratulations. This is for you. You did an amazing job. We have this for you. Have you ever tried Stone Mill bread before?
Yes, I tried it yesterday at Expo.
And did you like it?
I did. I had a sample of practically all the different ones.
Good thing, because now you have a whole year of free slow crafted bread.
Oh, wonderful.
So enjoy.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
At Stone Mill, we celebrate. And today that means we are celebrating slow victory of Sandra Holder. Our last place winner is an example of not caring how long something takes. Instead, they care about what they get out of it, even if it takes time.
So again, that was a great overview of the race, but a great message at the end as well. For our 125th anniversary, local artist Dylan Swan painted 31 paintings, one each of the kilometers and then one for the start line. They were on exhibit at the Art Gallery of Hamilton during the month of March in 2019, and they truly are beautiful works of art. And if you have a chance to visit Dylan's website, you just type in Dylan Swan Art. You would see the full collection and other great pieces of work. He does a lot of local scenery, but he's just a great person too. So I really enjoyed working with him through this project. And then just something fun, you know, lots of people just call us up and have some crazy ideas and some not so crazy, but this one, they wanted to do a little miniature version of our start line. I said, sure. And so this is just a picture of it. And although they couldn't do the thousands of people, this was just a little sample of what they did for us. In 2005, the Bay Race partnered with St. Joseph's Healthcare Foundation. And since that time, St. Joe's has raised over $4.5 million for its hospital programs. And we've added a couple of other charity partners over the years, but we continue to partner with charities to help them achieve their goals. And in 2021, an up-and-coming music artist named Abigail, at age 16, released a special Around the Bay race song. And Abigail's from Newfoundland. And a common question out east is, you know, where you live or where are you from? And a common response is around the bay. And so Abigail's manager also ran the Around the Bay race. So he felt we could do something together with this song. And so he and Abigail co-wrote a special version of Around the Bay just for our race. And I'd like to play it for you here. And you can find this song on Apple Music or Spotify. So here it is.
I'm racing against myself with thousands of friends all around me. Some start too fast and end up slow. Just keeping that breathing right, putting one foot in front of the other. I know my heart knows where to go. Hamilton will cheer, they come year after year. When you reach the lip bridge, you're halfway there. From elite to the beginners, everyone's a winner. It's all about the journey we share. Round the bay, it's all the right direction. Round the bay, by any other name. Like all roads lead to Rome, this one takes you home. Never really lost around the bay. We ran this race since 1894. The Hammer's 30K along the North Shore. Went hard from the beginning, but it's not about the winning. Valiant road would be your reward. The reaper's far behind, you're gonna cross that finish line. Your boulevard would be your grand parade, and the choir would sing. Around the bay, it's all keeping my breathing right. Put one foot in front of the other. I know my heart knows where to go. It's all the right direction. Around the bay, by any other name. Like all roads lead to Rome, this one takes you home. You never really lost around the bay. Around the bay. Around the bay. Around the bay. You never really lost around the bay.
And so, oh, there we go. So I'm hoping to invite Abigail to the Bay Race in March and see if she would be willing to sing that song to our participants or on the route. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully we can have Abigail out here. And so that concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I guess we can open up for questions if you have any. I can stop sharing, I guess. There we go.
So everyone is muted. If you have any questions, you're going to have to unmute yourself. Bob.
Yeah, Anna, just a compliment to you and your team. I've had the pleasure of working as a volunteer at the race, giving out the packets to the relay runners on Friday, and then working with Bet's crew at the RBG. And it's a fantastic experience. But I've always found your group are super organized, very, very grateful and respectful of the volunteers, and you have a real winning combination there.
Well, thank you, Bob. And we appreciate your help and hope that you will consider coming out again in March.
I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you. And I saw somebody with a shirt. Was that John? I saw John with his shirt on as well.
Who are you talking to?
You,
Yes,
I
John.
think, Tony.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Tony Marriott. Actually, I had a question. I seem to recall that Mayor Vic Cops had collapsed during the race in about the 1970s. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. I didn't put that in the presentation, but that is correct.
It's a little discouraging, but
Yeah.
it is. But that's a great presentation.
Thank you.
I was happy to have just done it a couple of times in the 1980s. Well, I had not realized that women hadn't participated until the mid-1970s. That was fantastic news and shows how things have changed.
Yeah, Tursilla was a trailblazer, and you know, we're lucky. I mean, now there's a female race director. I mean, you know, we've come a long way, but I think we still have some ways to go for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Anna, women weren't allowed in until I think you said 1975, right?
79. So Tursilla,
79?
yeah. Tursilla,
What about the other marathons? When were women allowed to race in them?
very similar timing.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't common, and if they did, they would sneak in. Mhm. Yeah.
Don't seem to see any other questions. Well, I really enjoyed that. I think adding, especially the little video clips were fun.
Thank you.
So very, very well done. And I hope that Abigail can come and sing.
Yeah. She's really talented and just such a lovely young person. And so I would love for us to be part of her history or her kind of career as she moves forward, and that we could be a part of that.
Mhm. Oh,
All
Mr.
right, thank
Newell.
you very much, Jen. Oh,
Bob's got a question.
Yeah, I don't recognize the location where Abigail was recording the song.
So that's actually right behind her house, she said. It's a little harbor. I forgot the name of it, but it's a little harbor. She's in a very small town. But
in Newfoundland, right?
Yes, in Newfoundland.
I thought it was. No wonder I didn't recognize it.
Yes, anybody else? All right, thank you very much, Anna. That was great.
Thanks for having me.
That was great. And everyone, come join us on January 26th when Bob Thomas talks a soldier story on his journey in peacekeeping, and yeah. So I'll thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Have a good night.